SIMCRO Short Track Championships. These guys have raced the street stock, the late model, the SK Modified. You name it, these guys have excelled at it. Tonight, you got the super late model on tap, coming to you live from Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. Here joining me tonight is going to be Taylor Burris. We've got Sean Ambrose behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons for us, and Dougie Beard running the cameras as usual. Taylor, the sun is starting to set on Five Flags here for tonight. We're getting ready to start qualifying. We've still got about another 11 minutes or so left in practice. What do we got going on here at Five Flags?
Of course, and welcome back everyone to the beautiful Five Flags Speedway. Of course, this half-mile oval with the 15-degree banking in the corner is one of the best premier short tracks in all of the United States. Home to the wonderful Snowball Derby, was in fact running with these super late models. Who could forget of races such as the race between Kyle Busch and Eric Jones, where Eric Jones takes the win in that great race. To give you a chance to see what it is like to take on these super late models here at Five Flags, we're going to go on board right quick for a GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yasek, taking you for a spin around Five Flags Speedway in the GSRC SK Modified. Without further ado, here we go. Floating it out here into turn one, getting it right down to the bottom, letting the vehicle rotate, catch a little bit of that line, driving it straight out of the corner, not all the way out to the fence. You might, if you're trying to set something up into turn three, but turn three, you let it float in, maybe catch a little bit of the apron to help it turn, drive it straight off of there, out towards the wall, floating it down here into turn one. You don't have a whole lot of time to rest here at Five Flags. Really separates the men from the boys. Off of the exit of the corner, down the back stretch, once again down here to turn three. You might try to some braking, or you might try and just let off the gas and let it rotate. Either way, the way to do it, across the line. And that's going to complete our guide here around Five Flags Speedway. I'm Brian Yasek. Enjoy the show.
There you have it, another great lap guide here for the GSRC team. And we have something else special going on. Attention all iRacers, we found a way to get you all on the same boat. Take a cruise with us to celebrate the new year. That's right, sail out of Miami with us on January 5th, 2020 for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Sea. Special group pricing has been put in place for iRacing members and their friends. Sail away, get together with members of the iRacing community, and get ready to see Phillipsburg, St. Martin, San Juan on Puerto Rico, and Labadee, Haiti. For as little as $125 a day, you can cruise the high seas for 7 days, and for a small deposit, you can secure your spot today. Payment plans available for everyone. Contact Brenna today at this cruise shop and get emails on this special offer. Email is brenna@thecruiseshopfw.com. But do it now, as spots are filling up quickly. Go on over to their Facebook events page with all the details about this amazing offer. That's Facebook/CruiseShopFW. We'll see you on the ship.
And with that, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the race here tonight. Well, we're running round 5 of 6 of the SIMCRO Short Track Championships. Of course, as you can see on your screen, we're running the super late mods out there here this evening, and we're going to go 200 laps on a nice Saturday night in Pensacola, Florida. Of course, Lucky Dog, in effect, there is one faster pair out there here for tonight, and there is no incident limit either. So what's that mean? Well, it means I don't think we're going to see too many problems as far as a lot of incidents out there. So far, we've got 8 cars on the Speedway, and with 8 cars on the Speedway, I think it's going to open up a lot of room for people to be able to do some safe driving out there for tonight. But hey, if you're a member of the SimCRO family and the SimCRO League, get out there, go ahead and get some laps in the super late mod. You got about 7 minutes here to get into the session before practice comes to an end. All right, well, we also don't want to forget about some of our other sponsors. to help make this league possible. For example, Next Phase Electric, California's energy efficiency specialists, offering air conditioning, insulation, smart home technology, solar, and much, much more. Next Phase Electric is dedicated to lowering your energy costs. A big thanks goes out to them for helping put up this great show here over the last few weeks. And of course, one more to go next week. And also Clutch Graphics, the iRacing paint shop for all your custom paint needs. Not only are they one of the best premier graphics designers on iRacing, they also donate a free paint to the winner of today's race. So a big thanks to them for helping put on the show here for tonight. All right, so Taylor, you've been involved, I believe, here with most of these races so far. We've got a smaller field here for tonight, and out of the 8 cars that we've got out there on the track right now, maybe about 7, who are we going to have an eye out on there for this evening?
Well, of course, the big one is, of course, the one who's won 3 out of these last 4 races we've already run. That's going to be the number 1 of Max J. Cookson. He's been putting on a dominating performance throughout the entire race season that we've had, as he had a little bit of an off here and during practice. But that's okay. He just gets back into the pits, get it all fixed up, and try again. But he is just one to been watching. Last night with the SK Modifieds, he had a little bit of humility as he only was able to pull out a 1-second lead compared to the past few races where he's almost put an entire lap on the entire field. Another driver who's looking for a little bit of redemption tonight is that number 98 of J.R. Shepard. He had a great run early on in the SK Modifieds, but got involved with some unfortunate incidents. He is going to see if he can capitalize and redeem himself with these super late models. And Adam, one thing we got to remember, last night when we ran these SK Modifieds, it was about 375 horsepower in those cars. Tonight, we bump it up to 175 extra horsepower and, of course, put fenders on these cars. So I tell you what, it's going to be a lot more horsepower, a lot more faster speeds. And I tell you what, the excitement is just going to be just as fun.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my own personal experience with the super late mod here, you get later on in that tire run, that turn 4 wall really wants to try to sneak up on you. So probably not going to see a lot of side-by-side racing there, particularly through 3 and 4. But Taylor, one thing I am hearing, though, in this kind of different tire model since the last time I really kind of raced this competitively, though, is that the outside line might try to come in a little bit towards the end of this thing.
Yes, and that's been the case, in fact, the entire series of the SIMCRO Short Track Championship. Those early stages until probably about 75% of the race is almost completed, or 75% of the race is completed, where we'll start seeing that outside line come into play. So drivers early on who are on the outside lane need to get to that bottom as quickly as possible. But we could see a few brave drivers stick to the outside line and try to work it in. So that way a little bit early on, maybe they could hold on to that outside line. So we're looking now on to the 97 of Cody Brinson. He's at the top of the charts for the practice charts. And I tell you what, doing quite a good job. Newcomer to this race series. I think this is his first time coming since we ran this championship race.
Well, here we are on a nice late June, early July evening. We'll talk about the weather here real quick. Track temperature right now sitting about 80 degrees as the sun is starting to go down. Winds out of the northwest about 4 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour. So not really going to see a lot of factor as far as those winds and the track temperature and that air temperature. Pretty good out there for a June evening. So I guess we'll take it as these guys getting set to qualify here in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's how long practice has left for this evening's festivities. So leading the speed charts right now, you got it there on your screen. Brinson of the 15.3, Max Cookson not far behind that. Cookson currently on the track. He's only 0.08 of a second behind. And I want to say that those were mock qualifying laps, as it seems like his race pace, at least at the start of his run, is probably going to be in the 15.7s, 15.8s. So, still looking pretty competitive. I would say definitely, Taylor, I mean, we talked about his domination already. He's definitely probably going to be one of the favorites again here for tonight. We've already talked about that. But he's showing his pace so far in practice.
Yes, he is indeed, and that's going to be something to watch. So, of course, he does have a couple of new drivers to compete with, of course, like with the likes of Cody Brinson. And then, of course, we have to also keep an eye on another driver, the number 95 of Dalton Collins. So let's see what they can do as they bring in, of course, a new car.
We're going right on board with Collins here. And Collins sitting It looks like 5th on the speed charts, 15.7. I don't think he's done any actual true qualifying runs, so that's probably going to be about what his race pace might be. In fact, actually, he's on a long run right now, and actually, we can look at his long run, Taylor, looking at his lap times, we can kind of see the fall off isn't that big, and kind of what I would expect with the sun going down and everything else. It looks like it's only a couple of tenths over the course of about 30 laps. So these cars, very consistent. The super late model, known for being a very consistent and predictable driver. So I think we'll see a lot of that here, and a good shot of the brakes already glowing on Cookson's machine. So maybe they'll get the brake pads changed out here before they take the green flag in a little bit. So about a minute 30 left in practice. Let's see, 7 cars currently in the session.
Yeah, I'm looking on and talking about Dalton Collins again, looking at his lap time or lap records and everything like that. It shows he actually ran the most consistently as far as laps back to back to back. I've seen some drivers run 1 to 2 laps, some maybe 4 or 5 laps. I tell you what, Dalton's probably ran close to 30, maybe 40 laps. And it's quite impressive of how well those times are showing. So it's going to be a big, interesting seeing what he can do come race time. But now we're getting ready to go qualifying here.
Yeah, and qualifying should have its own surprises. Looking at Cookson still turning laps as he finally comes to a stop. So really the only car that's out there right now is Dalton Collins. He's going to try to sneak in one or a few quick last-minute laps, maybe try to set a mock qualifying. So it might be worth watching here for just a second, see what kind of mock qualifying time he puts down, give us an idea of what to expect here over the next few minutes. Qualifying is going to be 5 minutes or 2 laps, whichever comes first for each individual car. Of course, oval track racing, so they'll all be out there on their own, and we'll have to click through them, kind of see where things end up over the course of the qualifying session. And then after that, we're going to go racing here for 200 laps tonight, or an hour and 30 minutes, whichever happens to come first. But I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of green flag racing here tonight. So those 200 laps are probably going to go by pretty quick. I'm looking at the times now, and that was 15.6 that Dalton put down. And that doesn't really move him up on the speed charts at all. He still sits 5th as practice comes to an end. They are waving the red flags out there on the practice session. And we switch over to qualifying. We'll see who's going to be the first one to take the track here tonight.
Adam, I tell you what, this is something I always look forward to with these short tracks, and not only just this one particular race, but what we've been running the entire 6 to 5 races we've run already. It's different cars, but on the same track. This is just like growing up back home near New Smyrna Speedway, where we saw multiple different classes, a track champion is crowned, and sometimes even that same track champion not just runs one specific car on that track, but multiple different cars on that track and tries to go for all the championships. So this is a really cool deal that the SIMCRO Short Track Championship Series has done, and it just brings back so many memories.
Well, Bruce Pearson was the first one to take to the track. He's coming across the finish line right now to set his first time. That's a 15.7. See what he's going to do here over the next 15 seconds as he swings back around the back straightaway. This car is on the ragged edge the entire way around, especially on line 3 and 4. I mentioned that wall comes up quick. What's his official time going to be? Is he any faster? He is, just only by a touch. But Max Cookson here so far, he ends up botching the second lap, but his first lap instead takes the provisional pole. That's going to be a 15.3. So far, he's the quickest out there. Jeffrey Harden's going to move up into second place. He's going to run a 15.6. Dalton Collins now on the Speedway. See what he's able to do. He's coming down the front straightaway here. What's his first lap going to look like? Ended up not setting a time. Okay, so maybe that was the out lap here. This is the first official lap now for Dalton Collins. My apologies. Front straightaway now, and his time is a 15.4, so move him up into second place. And here's a guy that I really want to keep an eye on, and that's going to be J.R. Shepard. We've seen him on GSRC broadcast before.
Yeah,
this is his out lap here.
Yep, the reigning and defending BRL Bootleg Outlaw Modified Champion coming out here in a super late model and getting ready to complete his first qualifying lap as he comes out of turn 4. Does a great line coming off, gets right up against the wall. As he crosses the line, he sets a 15.352. That's going to be good enough for second, just bumping Dalton Collins down with his 15.369.
Yeah, now can he pick up the 5 extra hundreds here coming down the front straightaway? Still pushing it. Does not. Actually a little slower. All right, so this was the fastest guy out there in practice, Cody Brinson, coming around to set his first time by. 15.2, he's going to take the provisional pole, and he's going to go ahead and call it good.
I think Max Cookson's going to go back out there, but he's already ran his 2 laps. I don't think this lap will count.
No, I believe he's just out there getting more laps in at this point.
And it looks like Brian Freese is not going to start the race. He has decided to pull his car into the hauler and call it a night. So unfortunate for that. So we will have 7 cars starting tonight's 200-lap race.
Well, these guys, don't make no mistake, it may only be 7 cars out there, but it's still going to be a highly competitive race. We've got a lot of guys within a very short time span of each other on lap times, so still expect a pretty decent show out there as the sun is now completely down here around 5 Flags. Lights fully on. I think we're going to be in for a good show. We'll see some sparks and some sheet metal flying, I'm sure, in just a little bit. By a little bit, I mean about a minute. And so that means we can actually take our time with the grid here, Taylor. Everybody's all set in stone. Everybody's all ran their laps that they're able to run. And a pole sitter here tonight is going to be Cody Brinson. He's going to come in with a 15.298. Alongside him on the front row is going to be Max Cookson.
Starting in the second row in the 3rd position will be Mr. J.R. Shepard, the champion in that modified series. He'll be starting alongside Dalton Collins in that number 95.
Jeffrey Harden and Bruce Pearson are going to make up row 3.
And then rounding out your 7-car field, another familiar face for those who watch the BRL, Kenny Kippy.
Alrighty, so there is your starting lineup here for tonight, as these guys are right now on the track just turning a few laps before we get everybody gridded up, which should happen here right about now. Cars switching over to the race session. Pace cars on the Speedway. Everybody's trying to line up behind them, getting those race setups loaded. And we're going to be underway for 200 laps around 5 Flags right after we go through 2 pace laps. Of course, this track less than a mile, in only a half mile, so we'll get those 2 pace laps fully in under formation behind the pace car before we set them loose under green flag conditions. You know, might have just had a few people join us here. Of course, this is the SIMCRO Short Track Championship. We've been talking about going 200 laps around 5 Flags here for. Just a reminder, these cars are going to get 1 fast repair here for tonight. There is no incident limit. And I'm expecting it's actually a competitive show despite the small car count here this evening in Pensacola. So I expect this race to still be pretty competitive out there. Everybody within a couple of tenths of each other on the practice and qualifying timesheets. So still looking to be exciting. And Taylor, I know with the last couple races, I mean, I think the last couple car types these guys have tried have proven to be exciting, has it not?
Yes, last night's SK Modified race was phenomenal racing. Even though there was a large field and several cautions happened, once we got towards the end, it was clear sailing for a lot of these drivers. Great battling throughout the field. And you know what? Even though, like you were saying, it's only 7 cars, it's not the quantity that counts. It's the quality of drivers. A lot of strong drivers in this super late model race tonight. And one thing that these drivers also need to consider is there's going to be a possibility that these drivers will have to take a pit stop somewhere in between this race. So we may even see some possible fuel strategy or even tire strategy for some of these drivers. So we'll have to keep that in mind as well.
That is going to make things very interesting as these guys head on to the back straightaway. And we'll be taking the green as they start to round 3 and 4 here momentarily. So we'll be watching that, see if we have any kind of green flag pit stops later on in the race, or if anybody does decide to make a pit stop. Maybe somebody might have to try to come through the field, especially if things get spread out a little bit. It could make things interesting. But the pace car's away, and Cody Brinson on, Cody Brinson on the gas right away in that 97 car. He's going to take turns 1 and 2. They all get single file pretty quick, nose to tail. There they go. J.R. Shepard starting on the pit road. So he is away now. He's trying to avoid a little bit of first lap chaos, which ultimately didn't happen. Cody Brinson is cleanly in front now. Max Cookson right behind him. Only about 0.02 of a second separate them, which is really just about 2 car lengths between them. That gap actually closes a little bit. Dalton Collins is keeping them in sight along with Kenny Kibney. Bruce Pearson's out there. He's currently running in 6th after getting around Jeffrey Harden there in the first couple of laps. Taylor?
Single file coming out of turn 2. It is still going to be Cody Brinson, who has about a 2-car length advantage as he tries a little bit of a higher arc coming out of turns 3 and 4, with Max Cookson trying to find a way to close the back bumper as we now go on board with Kenny Kibbe. As Kenny Kibbe is closing to the back bumper of Dalton Collins. He's going to take a peek to the inside as they come out into turns 3 and 4. Right up on the back bumper as they come down. Now still, he looks to the inside, see if he's going to try to make a pass going into turn 1. He does, side by side. I think Dalton's going to let him go, though, not try to waste his tires this early on in the race.
Yeah, that's going to be the smart play right now. And you saw going into the purple was J.R. Shepard, who started this race on the pit lane. He's going to be trying to stay out there and, wait for a first caution if one happens. If not, he's going to have his work cut out for him to catch back up to the back part of this field, with right now Brinson in first, Cookson in second, and Kenny Kibney after taking over third from Dalton Collins just a moment ago. These guys citing lap times already about the 15.9s. Cody Brinson and Max Cookson just pretty much just running very conservatively here so far. But we do got a battle in the back between Harden in 5th and Pearson in 6th. It looks like Harden took back 5th position that he had at the start of this race.
Yeah, but we see Pearson trying to find a way to get back up to the back bumper of Jeffrey Harden. As we see Harden takes a higher arc going into turns 1 and 2. That gives Pearson the chance to dive down to the inside line, make the pass coming out of turn 2. Bruce Pearson back up to the top 5, but we see Harden try to do a crossover move, but thinks twice of it. He's going to try to get good momentum coming out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. Pearson takes the higher line, gets right up against the wall, almost makes contact with it. Jeffrey Harden now gets packed into the 5th position.
You know, one thing that we talked about in the pre-race show, Taylor, that might be a little bit more of an issue now is with the limited car count. Do you think we're still going to see that high line try to come in?
We may not. It depends on how things are going to go for these drivers. Now, we could see as far as between Max Cookson, who is trying to get to the outside line past the likes of Cody Brinson, but for the most part, we may see them try to go single file into the corner for right now and hug that inside line, and then maybe on the front straightaway try to go a little bit lower. So we could have to watch out for some possible blocking later on in this race.
Well, right now, Max Cookson right underneath Cody Brinson's rear bumper, but at the same time, he seems content to stay there and just put the pressure on him and not try to make any sort of aggressive move. Don't forget Kenny Kibney and Dalton Collins not too far behind, and the battle for 5th continues between Harden and Pearson out there. That's the battle on the racetrack, has been since pretty much the start of this race. But just like that, this is what I mean, if we stay green here tonight, Taylor, it's going to be a quick race. We're already down 14 laps here.
Yes, indeed. One thing I'm noticing, J.R. Shepard reeling those 2 drivers up ahead of him real quick like, as J.R. Shepard is now on the same straightaway just about, as we saw the likes of Pearson and Harden just coming out of turn 2. I mean, J.R. Shepard is on fire. I think given it a little bit of time, he will get by these 2 drivers and pretty much might contend for a top 5 finish here tonight.
Well, he's going to have to keep the pedal on because right now he's only gaining a couple of thousandths a lap on your leaders. So he's going to have to try to get a little bit more aggressive than that. Speaking of your leaders, I'm looking at Max Cookson right now. He almost seems like he's starting to get a little bit more impatient.
Ooh,
Max Cookson, he's smoking. Did he just blow up?
The engine just blew, I believe. He's going to come to a complete halt somewhere on the track. Yep, engine has completely blown. I'm wondering what the reason for that could be. Max Cookson is out as a caution comes out.
That is going to put him down a lap at least while he tows.
That is...
You know, I bet I know what it is. I bet it was because of how tucked up he was underneath.
It could be a... Let's take a look on board, see if we can see if anything.
The engine will just expire here. It'll go quiet.
Could also mean he might have put a little bit too much tape on the car as well.
Well, I mean, just a combination between the two that caused the engine to expire. But we're starting to get our answer here about any kind of pit strategy is everybody making a trip down pit road.
And you know what? This also benefits Mr. J.R. Shepherd now. After the caution, he will now catch up to the rest of the field. And also a little bit of good news for Max Cookson. Even though he's probably going to be at least one lap down, he does have that spare car. The bad news is he's going to be using it a little bit too early, probably for his liking.
We'll have to see, but you know, he's at least going to lose one lap, probably two before everything is said and done. Dalton Collins is going to be the first one to pull away, and actually J.R. Shepherd getting away himself there in front of Cody Brinson. So things are going to get shaken up a little bit here on the pit stops as everybody gets away just in time before the pace car makes its way around. Max Cookson's tow has finished. He's finally on the pit road waiting for him to be able to come back out onto the track. And so far, he is listed as 2 laps down to the leader. So, you know, with Lucky Dogs in play, his night is not over by any means, but he is going to have some things go his way, especially with the short car count here tonight. Might not have as many cautions to be able to get that lucky dog.
That is true, but with how fast his car is, he could find a way to get by and lap the light.
Here's something interesting, Taylor. Bruce Pearson, while he was trying to come around and catch the field, lost it in turn 3 and ended up making hard contact with the concrete and had to take a tow himself.
Unfortunate for that situation as the pace car's getting ready to come off.
Green flag is out. Dalton Collins is leading this field. Looking at Cody Brinson already under J.R. Shepherd. Now, J.R. Shepherd just kind of taking the high side. I don't think he really wanted to push it right there. I think he was comfortable with letting everybody just kind of slide by now.
Yeah, he's going to try to bide his time right now. He's got fresh rubber. He's got a fast car, so we'll have to see what happens as Cody Brinson's now getting on closer and closer to the back bumper of Dalton Collins, and Kenny Kibbe looks on to the battle for the lead.
Now, right before the green flag flew, Max Cookson was waved around the pace car, so he might have been 3 laps down if it had not been for that. But right now he's listed as 2 laps down. Bruce Pearson has decided to call it a night, so we have 6 cars running competitively at the moment. As Dalton Collins is going to get stuck on the high side, and we can move Cody Brinson back up into that P1 spot, and underneath Dalton Collins to find Kenny Kibbe. Dalton Collins is probably going to get sick of being passed by Kenny Kibbe by this point. J.R. Shepherd's going to try to take advantage. So that high line definitely not the place to be at the moment. So you pretty much just get freight train once you get stuck up there.
Not Joe sure right now. J.R. Shepherd's trying to. Now he completes the pass. I think he got a little bit loose going into turns 1 and 2, which gave Dalton the chance to try to hold on to the outside line. But due to the fact 3 and 4, J.R. Shepherd was easily able to make the pass in that 98 Ford Mustang Super Late model.
So we got 4 cars right now running nose to tail for the top 4 spots. With settling out Brinson, Kibbe, Shepherd, and Collins, all within about 0.7 of a second of each other here.
Kenny Kibbe looking to the inside.
Looking a little hungry there.
He is. He's putting some pressure on the likes of Cody Brinson right now as they come out of turn 2. But now Cody puts about a car length separating the two. Now here comes Kibbe as he gets right up to the back bumper going into turn 3 and 4 as J.R. Shepherd is closing that gap as well.
Oh,
look at the
Kibbe
save right there.
See, that is what happens when your back tires lose grip, but he's able to latch back on to the back of that back. You're going to take a look at the GSRC replay machine. Take a look at that once again. Taylor, talk us through that.
Okay, when you're going through there and the car gets loose, some drivers think the best thing to do is just keep trying to turn it around as best you can. Some drivers end up putting it into the wall when they do that. You let off the gas just enough to where it can try to correct itself a little bit more as we're on board with it. There he turns it a little bit to the right there to try to keep it out of the Armco barrier and does a great job of saving it. So great job for Kenny Kibbe, and he's going to still continue on and not too far off the likes of Dalton Collins.
They are not. He really only lost about a second right there and has actually gained some of that back. Looks like Cody Brinson. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Cody Brinson's the slowest car on the track right now, and he's your leader.
That is something quite surprising as he sees J.R. Shepard closing in a little bit more, and Dalton Collins also. I believe Dalton Collins ran the fastest lap that time by with a 16:02, but J.R. Shepard, he's putting the pressure onto the likes of that 97 Toyota.
And of course, after what we saw with Max Cookson, and you know everybody saw that with the short field here tonight, you have to wonder if that could be on J.R. Shepard's mind about being tucked right up underneath Cody Brinson. And you don't want to see any more blown motors out there. So it might be a reason why he's putting a little bit more of a gap here as the run goes along. And right now we are already getting ready to start working lap 37. So the laps are clicking off pretty fast. It looks like Kenny Kibbe, I don't think his car is handling as well as it did before it broke loose.
No, I don't think so either. After he made that little bit of a mistake coming out of turn 2, was able to recover, but still, I think that might have cooked the tires a little bit too much more than he needed to, so he's going to have to either wait for a chance to come down pit road to get some fresh tires or a caution to come out.
Cody Brinson's Toyota Camry leading the Ford Mustang of J.R. Shepard. Almost right up underneath once again. It looks like J.R. Shepard is starting to try to change up his line just a touch. I think he's trying to find a little bit more of an advantage while Cody Brinson's starting to run a half lane up, particularly around 3 and 4. It looks like he's starting to do it through 1 and 2 as well. Could that be opening up the door for J.R. Shepard? J.R. Shepard certainly seems to think so. And he keeps on sneaking like he might try to go down low. Oh, caution is out.
Max Cookson again, I believe.
Trying to see what happened.
Oh,
back in, just stepped out on him coming through turn 4.
He tries to save it as best he can, but goes up the track a little bit, makes a little contact with the wall, and loops it around. Good news is the caution comes out. Bad news is he will not get the lucky dog for that because he is the one who causes the caution. Oh, never mind. He doesn't make any contact with the wall, so great job for not making that.
Yeah, still a damage-free spare car, so just a little bit on the pride side more than anything else.
A little bit of a 360 spin around, so I consider that a good spin right there.
And everybody coming back down pit road. Jeffrey Harden's going to go ahead and take his spare car now. He had a little bit of damage on the right front. I would expect Max Cookson to actually stay out on the racetrack, try to get an extra lap back. J.R. Shepard's going to be the first one to pull away. So as things stand now, Max Cookson, he's going to go ahead. It does look like he is officially going to stay out. Looks like that will put him 1 lap down once he rejoins the back of the field. So your top 5 after pit stops, looks like it's going to be J.R. Shepard, Cody Brinson, Dalton Collins, Kenny Kibbe, and Jeffrey Harden. That's going to be your top 5.
Well, let's line them back up and try again right here, Adam, as we're waiting for the pace car lights to come on. Been a pretty decent race, though. A lot of great passes, especially battling for the lead right now. And watching J.R. Shepard also work his way up through the field. Now let's see what he can do up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, we're seeing multiple different lines try to start coming into play, especially once these guys get about 10, 15 laps into a run. So I think that's going to make things pretty interesting here. And we're already getting close to a quarter of this race done. So they keep on having these long green flag runs. I mean, your time's going to get pretty short if you get stuck needing to make a move. There's Max Cookson getting the wave around. So he'll be coming back around to join the back of the field. He won't try to sneak in a pit stop, which I wouldn't think he'd be able to under this situation anyway.
He would have to wait till the green flag comes up before he can make any attempt of a pit stop.
Running up 2 by 2. So that's going to be Cody Brinson on the outside. Now, Cody was able to get a little bit of a jump on the start there. I mean, not an illegal jump by any means, but a jump enough to be able to get back out in front. See if he's able to do the same thing away. Pace car is away again. Indeed, he's looked like he was able to, but J.R. Shepard got smart from the last time. He's going to go ahead and slide down to the bottom lane, right off to turn 1. See if he's able to hold it into turn 2. Cody Brinson looking on the high side. Everybody gets back to being nose to tail. So that's J.R. Shepard, Cody Brinson, Dalton Collins, Kenny Kibney, and Max Cookson actually getting around Jeffrey Harden there as the green flag came out. So we can actually slot Max Cookson up, not necessarily a position, but at least a position on the racetrack, as he might try to get his lap back the hard way.
He's going to try his best to, and he's got a car that can do it. He's shown very good consistent speed even before his engine blew, so we'll have to keep an eye and see what he can do as he tries to close that gap on Kenny Kibbe.
Looks like Jeffrey Harden, just for some reason, does not have the pace here tonight. It's already fallen off the pack just a little bit, but your top 4, man, they seem evenly matched here.
Yeah, they're putting on a great show here at Five Flag Speedway. Kenny Kibbe trying a little bit of a higher arc and then dives it down, almost diming it as he looks on towards the nose of the car. That number 34 super late model gets right up to the back bumper of that 95 of Dalton Collins, doing a great job not to get into the back bumper, cause any contact. Now goes to the high line and then dives it down to the bottom, almost kind of diamonding the corner a little bit and doing a great job of keeping up with Dalton Collins.
Yeah, he's really trying to get that run coming off the corner, so maybe he can try to stick his nose to the inside by the time they get to 1. And that trying to do that coming off 4 is going to be the best place on the racetrack to be able to do it. But with Dalton Collins having to defend, he's not losing a ton of time, but he is losing time nonetheless to Brinson and Shepard in front of him. So he wants to be able to maybe either capitalize on this battle or possibly even let Kibbe go, just for the simple fact of not losing too much time, especially if we end up with a long green flag run here. That's your battles on the racetrack. You got one battle here for 1, 2, and a battle for 3 and 4. And I think it's going to be the way how it's going to go here for the night.
Yeah, but still, it's going to provide great racing action here at Five Flags as we see Kibbe trying to find a way to get to the inside of Dalton Collins. Same thing as we go on board with J.R. Shepard. We see Brinson just trying different lines, and this is a good time to do that while he has this gap, to try and see if he can find that better line to try to close the gap on J.R. Shepard, as J.R. gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 2, but is able to recover and still hold about a car length lead.
Yeah, but that battle back behind them for Dalton Collins and Kenny Kibbe continue to still go really tight. I mean, Kibbe is all over the back bumper, and just as we go to it, Kibbe slides up the racetrack a little bit and is going to lose a little bit of time to Dalton Collins. But as soon as he lost a little bit of time, Collins was able actually to gain a little bit of time on Brinson. So could be seeing maybe this pack here rejoin.
Could be, and that could provide a little bit more for great racing action here as we see Kibbe trying to more of a higher arc. Looking on at Max Cookson, he is trying his best to close that gap between him. He ran almost identical, a little bit slower that last time by with a 16.1 compared to Kenny Kibbe's 16.10. So he has a little bit of work to do here in that number 1.
So your top 4 right now, Shepard, Brinson, Collins, and Kibbe, and all within about 2 seconds of each other here on the racetrack. And Shepard does look to extend that a little bit here. And go ahead and see here what's going on with Cookson. It's running actually slower lap times than your leaders, but he also has slightly older tires. I think he's just trying to hang on right now, wait for the next caution.
The thing is, if we get another caution...
Yeah, it is entirely possible. We can go green here the rest of the way.
All right, looks like the cars are starting to get spaced out a little bit amongst the top 4. This would be a good time to start saving up on your tires a little bit as we see Kenny Kibbe get loose coming out of turn 4. does a great job of saving that car again.
It's not the first time we've seen Kibbe loose. Take a look at the GSRC replay machine. Get a good view of what happened to him. Just driving through, coming into 4, and the back end decided to want to step out on him. So once again, I mean, he didn't turn around, didn't do anything else, so it does lose a lot of time and actually falls back into the grasp of Max Cookson. Now, the side effect of that, Taylor, too, is the fact that the more you start sliding that rear end, the more the rear tires are going to become angry at you, and the more chances that he could do it to you again. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Kibbe here takes a little bit of a break and tries to take it easy for the next few laps, let those tires calm down a little bit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with these super late model races. There's some races that they hold as far as with super lates where they're not allowed to change tires, especially for these long races. So drivers in that instance will start trying to save their tires early on in the race, so that way they're able to use them towards the end when everybody else has used up all of their equipment.
We're going to go ahead and take a look and right on board here with Max Cookson. As I mentioned, Kibbe is kind of falling back into his clutches. Cookson's still running a lap down. He needs a lucky dog in order to get back onto the lead lap. He's also running on older tires right now after taking the lucky dog the wave around the last caution that we had. So Max Cookson doing what he can. Of course, he's pretty much dominated the Short Track Championship Series here so far this season. As he's going to go ahead and take a good look underneath Kibbe. He's going to be able to do anything with it. Ooh, almost slides up into him here. They're able to get away with it, and that's one thing. If I'm Kibbe, I'm just letting him go at this point. I'm just trying to hang on. He gets right back underneath the rear bumper. I don't think he was very happy with how that went with Cookson being a lap down.
No, but you got to realize, too, Cookson has been a lot faster closing that gap. Yes, even though he's a lap down, Kenny Kibbe had no choice but to really just hold his line and hope for the best.
I'll tell you, one driver that seems like they're having a little bit of more trouble here on the long run has been Brinson. He's really fallen off J.R. Shepard, and now we got a battle for second. I think it's going to start to shape up here in a little bit between Collins and Brinson. Next 10 laps could be very interesting for these two.
Yes, and also a little bit interesting for J.R. Shepard as he's also closing into the back bumper of that 44 of Jeffrey Harden. That'll be a car that he will have to try to put a lap down here, and that could provide some interesting situations. I'm pretty sure Jeffrey will be a clean driver to let these leaders by, but still, anything could happen.
You know, Jeffrey Harden, of course, is the person that puts together a lot of the SimCro stuff. So big thanks to him for putting together this series, and it seems like he's done a pretty good job here so far this season. Just trying to run here for the super late models at 5 Flags for tonight. A little bit smaller car count, but man, I tell you what, when these guys come back next week with the tour mods there, Taylor, I'm expecting to at least again maybe have a 20-25 car field. Everybody very excited about the new modifieds that have been brought to iRacing, so it'd be nice to see those on the track and in action. Yeah,
last night's SK modified race, a lot of great drivers was with.
Harden in the wall. He's going to be riding the wall again as Shepard gets by him on the bottom, but I think Brinson's going to lose some time getting around him.
Harden almost loses it again going into 3 and 4 right now. It gives the position over to Dalton Collins, though, as he slots by.
I say he lost time. Brinson lost time, but really he gained about 2/10 on J.R. Shepard that last time by.
Those tires might be coming into play, getting in the right opportunity for him to try to close that gap. We'll have to wait and see what he can do as they come across towards coming out of turn 4. Let's see who set the fastest lap this time by. Anyway, it's going to have to go to Cody Brinson with his 16.09 compared to JR's 16.13. So he's slowly but surely reeling in J.R. Shepard. And good news is for him, he's still got plenty of time to try to get to the back bumper.
Yeah, we're really kind of seeing an ebb and flow between these top 3 guys, keep alternating who wants to be the fastest on the racetrack. Taylor, I'd have to wonder, does that mean maybe with what's going on out there in, maybe a track not getting as warm as they'd like with the tire temperatures or anything else, maybe a little inconsistencies in the car?
It could be a bit of that, as well as with also the fact that these tires are not really that great on a long run. They're good for short runs, bursts of speed, and these tires will wear out completely really quickly. So it's going to be, you have to wait and see as we get longer and deeper into this run.
With that being said, Taylor, would you start wanting to run maybe the high line to try to take a little bit of edge off the tires? We pull up the lap comparison and see how they've looked here over the last few laps.
As we look right now, J.R. Shepherd's been showing a lot better speed over Dalton Collins. So this could be an opportunity for maybe Collins to try and save those tires, get up on the higher line. I mean, he has a very good gap over Kenny Kibbe, about 8 seconds. He might lose a little bit of time to the likes of Brenton and J.R. Shepherd, but towards the end of the run, if he does well and save those tires, he can reel these two drivers back in.
It's worthy to note that Kenny Kibbe has fallen about a half lap behind these guys now. So Kenny Kibbe definitely, I think his tires just got mad at him from his slides. So these guys slowly but surely starting to chase him down.
It's going to be a matter of time to only have 3 drivers on the lead lap as we're still winding down laps. Not even halfway through the race yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. And there might be a small possibility that these drivers might have to pit at least one more time, at least for fuel.
That is going to be part of the interesting thing that happens here for the rest of the night. And I think it's going to get even more interesting as this race goes along and the possibility of us going green flag all the way to the end increases. Now, of course, every single caution that we've had, we've seen everybody come down pit road. So that tells me that both tires and gas has been on the thought of these guys' minds. So keep an eye on that. But right now, I can't tell if Cody Brenson's either just comfortable where he's at, or maybe that's the best he can do. As J.R. Shepherd that last time was a 16.2 with Cody's 16.16. He's not gaining a ton of time per lap on him. It just seems like he's keeping a comfortable distance at this point.
You might realize what happened to Max Cookson as we saw with Max all over the back bumper of Cody Brinson. Realize it's too early to be doing that. He's going to try to save his tires a little bit, cool off the engine, keep it as cool as possible, and just try to get to the finish of this race.
Continuing to watch these guys turn laps here. Cody Brinson still running 16.2, J.R. Shepherd running 16.2s. Dalton Collins has fallen off a little bit. He's running 16. That last time was a 16.2, but he's running a few 16.3s. He's now over a second and a half behind your first and second place runners. So just to go through the field here real quick, Shepherd, Brenson, Collins, that's your top 3. Kibbe running in 4th. Cookson in 5th position, still a lap down. He's dominated a lot here so far this season, but had trouble early. Harden now running in 6th position. Bruce Pearson is our only retiree of the night, and he had trouble early, and of course will finish in the 7th position.
On board with Scott Brinson as he sees him trying to close the gap on J.R. Shepherd. It's now down to about a car length. He's closing that gap a little bit there, Adam. Let's see what he can do.
I really think he's just trying to be comfortable more than anything else. But J.R. Shepherd, I think, J.R. Shepherd, that back end was not happy with him there, coming out at 2. Indeed, that last time by is a 16.3. This could be even slower. Brinson is right back there. So much for my comfortable distance theory. I think Brinson may be smelling blood in the water.
It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Also, we got the likes of Jeffrey Harden coming up as they are now going to be on the same straightaway as him. This is going to be a little bit interesting. I know Jeffrey's going to probably move out of the way, but depends on what line and if we see Brinson try to make a pass during that process.
Brinson is right there, tucked underneath. One little slip up by J.R. Shepherd, he'll be into him, as Brinson's going to go ahead and go to the low side. They're going to run side by side right when they're coming up on Jeffrey Harden here. It'd be interesting. I don't think Harden's... That's not exactly the best place to be, but they make it. Whoa! Oh, I want to say that was neck coat there. J.R. Shepherd has a little bit of damage. He was 3 lanes away. Well, maybe not 3, more like a lane and a half, but you get the point.
And there's a lot of damage to the left and right front.
Yeah, they both have some fender damage here. Just have to see if that impacts them at all.
Take a
But
look.
Brinson is your new leader as we are getting ready to hit the halfway mark here, Taylor.
100 laps down, 100 laps to go. Let's see what happens with these drivers. The number 97 of Cody Brinson pulls away just a little bit now, almost right at about a second gap. As we see Dalton Collins still about 1.8 seconds back, and he's not really closing that gap, so we may see him just trying to conserve his tires as best he can.
Well, before too long, Kenny Kibbe is going to be the next target for the lap downs. They're almost on the same straightaway as him. J.R. Shepard has fallen off to almost a second now behind Cody Brinson. Seeing those brake pads glow red is starting to see the wear and tear here on equipment. 16.4 that last time for JR, 16.2 for Cody Brinson. Yeah, JR Shepard just has not had the same car since that little bit of an incident. Now, I'll tell you, as far as, you know, if you're familiar with how iRacing works and everything and how the damage prediction goes, Cody Brinson's damage has repaired itself after that contact really on screen. So has J.R. Shepard's, but J.R. Shepard does not seem like he has the same race car as Jeffrey Harden is. Come down pit road. See if he is making a normal pit stop or calling it a night, or see what he's doing here.
See the tires, see him getting tires right now, so I think he's going to still continue on, just getting some fresh rubber on that number 44, and he is going to be away here momentarily as it comes out of pit road, as nope, fuel's still going into the car, so he's going to have to wait a few more minutes.
Yeah, I always think that fuel goes into these cars with the sippy cup. One sippy cup at a time. Fuel rate.
You know, Adam, coming here to Five Flags, you know, this racetrack has a lot of history. A lot of great names have come to race here on this track. I mean, you have the likes of drivers such as Pete Hamilton, Donnie Ellis, and Darrell Waltrip, who won that famous Snowball Derby, of which is, of course, an extra 100 laps longer than the race we have here tonight. So winning here on this track puts you in with great company, whether it be racing here in the real life or here on the virtual track.
So Harden is still in the pits, and Max Cookson has decided to call it a night. So Max Cookson is done here for this evening. He will not continue his streak. And I don't see anything happen to him. He just fell off. So unfortunate there. So we got 3 cars left on the lead lap within 3 seconds of each other. That's Brinson, Shepard, and Collins. They did get around Kenny Kibbe a few minutes ago. Looking at Brinson's lap times, still running a 16.4, and J.R. Shepard right now 16.2. So Dalton Collins has just disconnected.
Now we have 2 drivers now on the lead lap, as that was completely unexpected. I mean, he was still running on the track and then was just gone on my screen.
Same with Max Cookson. This is exactly what happened. So, well, now we got a 2-car battle here for the back half of the race.
Well, I do got to say, hopefully we won't have an issue with the likes of Cody Brinson and J.R. Shepard where they disconnect unexpectedly. If not, then Kenny Kibbe or Jeffrey Harding, they could maybe end up battling for this win.
Jeffrey Harden did return to the racetrack, so we got four cars remaining on the racetrack. As we're looking at Jeffrey Harden right now. That blue and neon yellow machine. Nice looking car.
He's actually holding one of the sponsors that we have here, the Next Phase Electric. Really great design. Great to see a local sponsor on his car that he has for him. Great to see that that company was willing to come on board to help fund and put on this great season of 6 races here at Five Flags. As we are just still a little over, close to about 80 laps left to go in this race, so we'll have to wait and see what J.R. Shepard can do with the likes of Cody Brinson.
Yeah, J.R. Shepard continues to fall off. Cody Brinson now almost a second and a half. $80 laps to go here. Nice brake cam there. Once again, the camera work of Dougie Beard. And when we look at those rotors just glow around here. I mean, it's not a Martinsville. It's not a Bristol. There's still quite a bit of weight that those brakes are having to control going into the corners here at Five Flags for sure.
Most definitely. You can even see him from the outside of the car right now as you see Cody Brinson in that 97. Brakes are glowing on the lights of that car as he's pulling away in that 97 Toyota Camry.
And look at J.R. Shepard here, and J.R. continuing to fall off just a little bit. A 10th here and a 10th there. Now finds himself 1.6 seconds back. You got 4 cars on the racetrack. You still have Kenny Kibbe out there. So I think the possibility of Cody Brinson's car is just this good here on a long run. As long as everybody can stay clean, nobody break loose or anything else, he could be sailing away. And it's hard to say that when you still have 70 plus laps left in an event, but that very well could be what we're looking at here.
Yeah, and he still has a lot of time left to try to see if he can close that gap, but it's going to have to be something, I think, major for Brinson to do in order for J.R. Shepard to close that gap. So we'll have to just keep an eye seeing what happens, as it's kind of nice to see J.R. Shepard throwing a little bit of the old throwback paint scheme in that number 98, throwing it back to the likes of Neil Bonnet. So it's good to see some drivers.
Take a look at Kenny Kibbe. He was a contender early on after running into some problems. Has definitely fallen off the pace and running 16.5s now. A little bit of right front fender damage, a little bit of right rear fender damage. Had a back end try to get it loose on him, angry a few times, but he's still out there running and turning laps. So as long as you are turning laps, there is hope. And all I can think about is Jim Carrey. So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, there could be a chance for Kenny Kibbe. He's only a lap down, so still a long way to go. We have 70 laps to go, pretty much. It's going to be anything is possible. We've had engines blown up, drivers all of a sudden disappear off the track. So who knows what could happen with the likes of Kenny Kibbe.
Well, looking at J.R. Shepard continuing to just fall off the pace here. Cody Brinson. Well, I do like that old throwback Sitco paint scheme. Now, our director, Sean Ambrose, I got a good look at his desktop earlier, and it had the Star Trek Enterprise on his desktop. And I remember, I think it was 1996 or 97 when Michael Waltrip was running the Sitco scheme, and he had a Star Trek themed Sitco scheme that ran in Atlanta that year as the season finale. It was nice and silver and beautiful, beautiful Sitco scheme. Of course, that's coming from a Trekkie, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of these
that might have been before your time, Taylor.
It might, just a little bit, maybe about a good 10, 15 years, right about there. But still, even though that sponsorship we don't see in actual more professional motorsports, it's still nice to see drivers respecting the past as we continue on with racing on in the future, as we know with esports coming through the ranks, where we see drivers try their best to work on combining the two, bringing the real world and the simulator world together with this, as we're on board with Jeffrey Harden, who's doing a really great job of trying to combine with working with drivers to help put on great shows. Tonight might be an interesting one for him, as we have a small field, but still the quality of racing that he's had here over the past few rounds here has been quite astonishing. I mean, we saw some dominating performances. We saw great side-by-side action. We've had some interesting and very interesting wrecks throughout the race season so far, but for the most part, he's done a really great job for working hard to put on as best a show as he can here.
Of course, Cody Brenson from Florida, looking at Jeffrey Harden there from California, Kenny Kibbe from Michigan, J.R. Shepard. Not sure which state he's from, South Club, so got drivers from all over the United States still represented here for tonight at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. So this would be, I guess we can consider this Cody Brenson's home track at this point.
Yeah, one of the few tracks on my bucket list to go to is this track. You know, used to living in Florida, you had, of course, the famous Daytona International Speedway, and then, of course, for the short track fans, you had New Smyrna Speedway just 15 minutes south, and then about another 10 to 15 minutes to the west, you have Volusia Speedway Park. And it's just great to see the many diverse tracks throughout the state of Florida, and, of course, with Five Flags and, of course, many other great circuits. Drivers coming from all across the world to come and race on these historic racetracks.
And Five Flags definitely ranks up there as far as historic racetracks, especially in the southeastern United States. And we've mentioned the Snowball Derby a few times, riding around now with J.R. Shepard. You mentioned the great drivers that have ran here in the past. You know, it is very much a historic speedway. We've ran it here in the majors a few times, well, at least once, maybe again, who knows, the next few years. But it's always a good place, puts on a good show, and you know, J.R. Shepard still within shouting distance here, at least, of Cody Brenson. So, you know, so you're saying there's a chance. I mean, now Sean Ambrose put that GIF up for me, so now I got that on the mind.
And you know, it's great to see. I mean, this track would be, and actually, if you think about it, you know, we've seen some of the lower series in NASCAR, such as the Trucks and Xfinity, race on similar short tracks back in the early days. So kind of wondering later on down the road, when, you know, the new schedule for the next couple of seasons in NASCAR, we could possibly see more of a type of short track racing like we see here at tracks like these. Of course, it'll be a lot of work, but it's going to be very interesting if we could ever see the top 3 national series in NASCAR to come back to these local short tracks.
That's been a nice thing. You're starting to see a tendency more of short tracks becoming fan. I mean, Nashville might be coming back to a national series, NASCAR national series. I mean, that's exciting to see that Fairground Speedway get some love once again.
Exactly. It's been a long time since we've seen any form of NASCAR racing back out towards that way in the Nashville, Memphis area. And I tell you what, it would be such a great honor to see them race at the Nashville Fairgrounds. That track has so much history.
You know, don't look now. J.R. Shepard's, okay, there it is. I was going to say, J.R. Shepard's closed a couple of tenths the last few laps. No, he just lost it again. So the distance remains the same between them, about 2.5 to 2.6 seconds. So not really gaining, not really losing. Second one drives a little bit faster, another one drives a little slower. So take a look at the lap comparison as our director pulls it up for you. And, well, there you go. That pretty much tells the story. You know, up 2 tenths, down 2 tenths, up a tenth, down a tenth.
As he's trying to get by the likes of Jeffrey Harden, who's going to try to stay up near the high line. Hopefully he doesn't scrape the wall. As Cody Brenson's, is he slowing down a little bit? Yes, he is. He's coming down towards pit road. He must be making his next pit stop.
Everybody is. Cody Brenson's coming down. They might be calling it a night here. J.R. Shepard's down. Kenny Kibbe's coming. Jeffrey Harden is slowed on the racetrack. They're not coming down competitively here.
And
I have to see what exactly is going on.
Well, all I can say is I do not see the 97 of Cody Brinson on my screen. It shows that he might be going up on Jax.
He's there.
Yep, there he is.
And I think they're calling it a night. Yeah, Cody Brinson just came on the radio and said thanks for putting on the show. So I am believing that they are going to call the race official with 152 laps of the 200. And I believe we can declare Cody Brinson the winner here for tonight. And we'll find out officially here. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on the Sim Racing channel. Welcome back to the SIMCRO Short Track Championships here at Five Flags Speedway. And we have just received word that they have decided to call it a night. We can declare Cody Brinson the winner here for tonight with the super late models. J.R. Shepard is going to come home in second. I'm just going to run through the finishing order here real quick. Kenny Kibbe in third. Jeffrey Harden will finish in fourth. Dalton Collins fifth. Max Cookson in sixth and seventh. Victim of an early accident, Bruce Pearson. Brian Freese did not take the green flag. So with that, I mean, that is the race here for tonight, and really not much else to say. I mean, we had some great battles early on, Taylor, and these guys showed that they could put on a show. I just don't think we had the car count here for tonight, but still some exciting moments nonetheless.
Yes, indeed. We had some great racing up towards the front early on in the race. I mean, Max Cookson did a great job trying to keep up, but unfortunately with his engine expiring, he could not continue on. And then, of course, we saw some great battles up with the likes of J.R. Shepard, Brinson, and Dalton Collins. But unfortunately, with just due to the fact of how low the car count was, it seems like that quality was just too much to bear over the quantity.
All right, well, with that, nobody's coming to the interview room, so we're going to go ahead and call it a night here on GSRC as well. We'd like to thank everybody on the track today, for putting on the greatest show that they could possibly put on given the circumstances, and especially Jeffrey Harden for organizing this league and contracting GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen, you can see all the companies that provide us with their great hardware and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best show possible. Additional thanks to June Lalonde for the music that she produces. You can see the screen right now for how to get a hold of her for more work for your production. The SIMCRO Short Track Championship is going to be back next week. The Tour Mod is going to be here at 5 Five Flags Speedway, and expecting a great show with that. I think we're going to get a few more cars out of that one than what we did here for tonight, so definitely be sure to tune in for that. They got some more exciting races on GSRC coming up here over the course of the next, actually, couple of hours. We got the PRL coming up with the Cup cars at Chicagoland Speedway, so that'll be exciting to watch. Be sure to tune in for that here in just a little bit. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media at Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And of course, as we mentioned, all the great races coming up on GSRC flashing across your screen. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew here for tonight, it involves Sean Ambrose behind the switch, Taylor Burr sitting in the seat beside me, and of course Dougie having all the great cameras. With that said, we're off to finish storming the castle, like Soup likes to say. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.